It may be a matter of concern because younger population, comprise about 70% of Kenya's total population. And so they're very critical when it comes to the political process that ultimately is going to govern their lives and their economies. And so lack of strong interest in the political process, of course, it is a cause for worry. However, this is not an isolated case. Elections in countries tend to have cycles. And so for 10 or 15 years, you may have higher turnout, and perhaps subsequent ones, because perhaps of the failures of subsequent political leaders, sometimes it tends to depress the kind of turnout you expect. But I think going forward, we're going to expect a lot more involvement, especially by the young people, the way they've done in the past.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us from Nairobi.
Thanks for having me.
We'll bring in our correspondent, Malcolm Webb. Once again, he's joining us from Nairobi. So, Malcolm, when we were speaking to you a few minutes ago, you were saying that you had just seen the motorcades of the two candidates. Tell us what you're seeing now and if you're hearing anything more on the count.
Yeah, they arrived here at the tally centre just a short while ago, but we're waiting to see them walk into the auditorium, which we can see on the screen just here. Once they're inside and they're both seated, we're expecting the last few constituencies results to be announced, and then that will lead us to the final result. We certainly expecting to be very close. It looked throughout the counting process, it's appeared to be close. The official count by the Electoral Commission, as well as other tallies that have been run by different media houses and other organisations, depending on which constituency they counted, in which order, have at different times shown either Raila Odinga having a slight lead or William Ruto having a slight lead. And it's been like that throughout this counting, right up until the most recent data that we've seen. If neither of them is said to have scored the threshold of 50% plus one or more votes, then, according to the Constitution, it has to go to a runoff. There's been 4 candidates in this poll, two front-runners, Ruto and Raila, who we've been talking about. But if there is a runoff, it'll be just those 2 going forwards. That's going to happen within a matter of weeks. But if one of them is declared the winner, that's with 50% plus one or more votes of the votes cast, then that person's due to become the president-elect, but it can be challenged in court, and any claimants have a week to file a court petition. Now, in the previous election 5 years ago, that's what happened. The opposition at the time, led by Raila Odinga, challenged the election in court. The Supreme Court ruled in their favour. It annulled the result. It called for a rerun. That happened a couple of months later. And certainly a narrow margin of victory increases the probability of a rerun. But that Supreme Court ruling 5 years ago does seem to have had some powerful effect on how the election was conducted this time. There's been several things that have been done differently by the Electoral Commission, including the publication of the forms from every polling station from the minute that they were electronically submitted. This electronic voting system that last time was widely criticised for being so opaque, this time has actually been used to make the process more transparent, at least in that respect, because it means anyone could log on to the Electoral Commission's website and look at those forms, download them and make their own tally right from the moment that those forms were sent in to here, which is the main tally centre in the capital, Nairobi.
Give us a sense how Kenyans have been feeling over the past few days as they await these results.
Well, right now, as we speak, there are crowds in Kisumu, that's the city in Western Kenya, which is a stronghold of Raila Odinga. Also in the streets of Eldoret, which is a stronghold of William Ruto. And there are also some people out ready to celebrate here in Nairobi. In Nairobi, Raila Odinga does have many supporters as well. But a lot of the other people I've spoken to the last few weeks, informal traders, motorbike riders and so on, also saying that things have been a struggle in the last week because a lot of trade has ground to a standstill. A lot of people aren't doing business as they're waiting for this result to be announced and this electoral process to potentially draw to a close, because people are concerned that there might be unrest following the announcement of the result. A lot of people just want to be able to get back to work. This is at a time when the cost of fuel and food is very high. Masses of people in the informal sector who depend on what they earn each day to feed their families and to get by. And this whole political process for the last week has really brought a lot of trade to a standstill, or certainly slowed it down a lot. So I think a lot of people are just hoping that this will be over peacefully and that business and trade can resume as normal. Of course, if there are going to be court challenges or protests on the street, then that could mean this whole process goes on quite a bit longer.
Okay, Malcolm, thank you so much for the time being. So that, once again, is a live picture from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi, where we are expecting the official result of the presidential election to be announced any minute. And as and when it happens, we will cross back live to Nairobi and bring you these results. Still ahead on Al Jazeera. Prime Minister Narendra Modi promises to turn India into a developed country in the next 25 years as it celebrates 75 years of independence. And waiting for a reunion that may never come, families search for those missing since Russia invaded Ukraine.
Talk to Al Jazeera. We ask.
So the rebound you speak of is clearly coming at a high cost for airlines and the industry. What's going wrong?
We listen.
You were part of the armed struggle in the 1970s. Do you have any regrets?
No.
We meet with global newsmakers and talk about the stories that matter on Al Jazeera.
Unprompted and uninterrupted discussions from our London Broadcast Centre on Al Jazeera.
Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani International Anti-Corruption Excellence Award. Vote now for your hero.
Al Jazeera's correspondents bring you the latest developments on the war in Ukraine.
We had to take cover. This is what's happening on a daily basis.
The medics here say he is incredibly lucky.
Those coming out have to cross the lines alone in this no man's land.
We're one of the few to gain access to this embattled town. They take us to their basement, where we find others sheltering from the shelling.
These evacuees now face a 3-day journey.
Devastated buildings are now a grim reminder that the Russians were here.
Hello again, you're watching Al Jazeera. Here's a reminder of the top story this hour. Results of Kenya's tightly contested presidential election are expected to be announced shortly. You're looking at the live pictures from inside the counting center in Nairobi. That's where the Electoral Commission is set to make that announcement. Kenyans went to the polls last Tuesday, and most voters have cast their ballots for two men, Raila Odinga or William Ruto. Both are veteran politicians. Let's speak to Patrick Gathara, who's a political commentator. He's joining us from Nairobi. Welcome to Al Jazeera. Just give me your initial thoughts on the election as we await the official result to be announced.
Well, it's been one of the better Kenyan elections, to be honest. It's been quite transparent. People went to vote last week on Tuesday. To come through.
All right, apologies.
And hopefully
Patrick Gathara, if you can hear me, we are having some audio connectivity issues with you, so we will let you go for the time being. And once we get the results out of Nairobi, we will cross back live to Nairobi and that official tally. We'll tell you about other news in the meantime. And the court in Myanmar has convicted ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi in more corruption cases, adding 6 years to her prison sentence. The charges related to accusations that she was building a home with money from charitable donations. Suu Kyi has already been convicted in connection with other minor offenses. Tony Cheng is following the developments from Bangkok.
At 77 years old, this really takes Aung San Suu Kyi out of the political picture for quite some time to come, and I think this is what everyone was expecting. She's facing in total 19 cases for a range of charges, including the ones today for corruption. Also in the court today in Naypyidaw, they had evidence in a case which is being brought against her for misuse of a state helicopter. There have been cases about the misuse of walkie-talkies. And really, I think what we're seeing here is a continuation of the process which we've seen since the coup, of the military who have just thrown charges against her, trying to remove her. They know that if in an electoral stand-up she would defeat them again. They have promised elections by the autumn of 2023. We've heard from Min Aung Hlaing, the senior general in charge of the military junta, that he will go ahead with that in the last couple of weeks. If Aung San Suu Kyi was to remain in the political sphere at that stage, it would be a very difficult obstacle to come. So what this does is remove her further and further away. There are still several more cases she'll need to face in the coming weeks. They were hearing more evidence today. But I think today's charges really show that the military's intention is to keep her out of the picture completely.
China's defense ministry says Beijing is ready to smash any foreign interference. It's also called the U.S. saboteurs in response to an American congressional delegation visiting Taipei. Beijing carried out more live-fire military exercises near the island on Monday. It says the trip to Taiwan by American politicians exposes the U.S. as a spoiler of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait.
The
delegation led by U.S. Senator Markey has insisted on visiting the Taiwan region of China in disregard of China's opposition. This blatantly violates the One China principle. It violates China's sovereignty and territorial integrity and sends a
cha ubunge, kiti cha uwakilishi wa wadi. Kumbuka ndizo nyadhifa ambazo zilikuwa ziking'ang'aniwa na baadhi ya viongozi kutoka maeneo tofauti humu nchini. Tayari kufikia sasa tumepata majina ya wale ambao ndio wabunge wateule katika maeneo tofauti, seneta wateule na vile wale wawakilishi wadi ambao ndio wateule, na kwa sasa tunasubiri kumpata rais mteule ambaye baada ya kutangazwa rasmi basi atakuwa akikula kiapo chake na kuidhinishwa kuwa rais wa 5 wa taifa au ukipenda Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Ndio Andrin, kufikia sasa ni dhahiri shairi tumearifiwa kwamba hivi sasa naibu wa rais William Ruto ashafika Bomas, vile vile yule wa Roots Party ambaye ni George Luchiri Wajackoyah vile vile ashafika, naye David Wahiga Mwaure wa chama cha Agano vile vile ashafika. Mtazamaji, sasa tunazidi kukupeperushia yote kutoka ukumbi wa Bomas, tukizidi kukupakulia upande wa pili Andrin kwenye kiwambo pale. Mtazamaji, hizo ni picha za kwaya ambayo inazidi kutumbuiza wale ambao wamefika ukumbini humo. Usubiri tu mwenyekiti wa IEBC Wafula Chebukati kuweza kuweka sasa mambo wazi, mwelekeo utakuwa upi. Kumbuke kwamba kuna uwezekano wa mambo kadha wa kadha, kwa sababu kunatarajiwa kutangazwa rais mteule, na hatujui kwamba tutaelekea katika masuala ya kesi kotini, masuala kadhaa ambayo tunatarajia kutokana na zoezi hili. Letu ni jicho tu, tukisubiri mwelekeo ambao tutaupata kutoka kwa mwenyekiti wa tume ya IEBC Wafula Chebukati.
Lakini Onsare, labda tu kwa mafikra tu, jinsi ambavyo tumeona wanasiasa, viongozi wengine wamekuwa wakichukua mkondo wa kwamba iwapo ameshindwa basi anakubali kule kushindwa. Tunatarajia pia katika wadhifa huu wa urais, manake katika kila kinyang'anyiro katuwepo na mshindi na mshinde, sio? Kwa hivyo tunatarajia kwamba kinara ataibuka mmoja tu kidedea. Kwa hivyo labda ni matumaini ya Wakenya wote kwamba atakayekuwa akishindwa basi atakuwa akikubali kushindwa na kuungana mkono na viongozi ambao watakuwa kiingia serikalini kuhakikisha kwamba taifa hili linasonga mbele. Hapo jana kiongozi wa Azimio One Kenya Raila Odinga na vilevile kiongozi wa Kenya Kwanza ambaye si mwingine ni naibu wa rais William Ruto, wote wawili waliweza kuhudhuria ibada za maombi katika sehemu tofauti hapa nchini, na ujumbe ulikuwa ni mmoja, kwamba wamewasihi wananchi kudumisha amani, kuwa watulivu na kusubiri amri, agizo na matangazo kutoka kwa tume ya uchaguzi na mipaka nchini IEBC.
Vile Andrin, vinara hao, kinara wa Azimio Raila Odinga na naibu wa rais William Ruto ambaye anaongoza Kenya Kwanza, waliweza kuwashukuru wale wote ambao waliweza kuteuliwa katika uchaguzi wa tarehe 9, wakiwatakia heri njema na katika shughuli nzima ya kuendeleza uongozi wa taifa.
Naam, mtazamaji, itakumbukwa kwamba kiti hiki cha urais basi kilikuwa kimemezewa mate na wengi tu, lakini IEBC iliweza kupunguza idadi hiyo na kufikisha idadi ya wagombea kiti cha urais hadi 4. Na labda tu kwa kutoa maelezo kwa faida ya mtazamaji ni kwamba David Wahiga Mwaure ambaye alikuwa aking'ang'ania wadhifa huo kwa tiketi ya chama cha Agano ni wakili, hali kadhalika alihitimu inaitwaje hii kutoka chuo kikuu cha Nairobi.
Aliweza kusomea ile shahada ya wanasheria na alihitimu mwaka wa 1981. Vile hivi sasa anaendeleza masomo yake ya uzamifu, ukipenda ile shahada ya uzamifu katika masuala ya uongozi.
Na vile huyu Wahiga ambaye alikuwa akigombea kiti cha urais kwa tiketi ya Agano amefanya masuala haya ya wanasheria kwa zaidi ya miaka 35. Kwa hivyo inaonekana amebobea sana
na uzoefu sana wa masuala ya sheria.
Naam, vile itakumbuka kwamba mwaka wa 2011 aliwahi kuwania kiti cha ubunge katika eneo la Kamukunji.
Ndio alipowania nafasi hiyo ni kutokana baada ya kuweza kuzindua kile chama chake cha Agano mwaka 2006.
Lakini kwa bahati mbaya akapoteza kile kiti cha
where will you get the money? But you see, he was really not capturing the very small things that a presidential candidate of his magnitude should have. So with that particular agenda, I think he lost touch with the masses. And number two, we are accustomed to the perennial politicians. You know, it has become sort of a cult whereby an individual will vote for someone, come rain, come shine, come hailstorms, they will have to vote. Not because they really believe in them, but the kind of belief they have in them is totally different from the agenda that they are trying to propose to the country.
All right, and we're seeing small Kamukunjis here and there, and the Bomas of Kenya as well, people still sitting. It looks like when there's no music and when the choir isn't singing, then the tension seems to be growing higher and higher, because it's a rather quiet room. But there we have several members of diplomatic missions as well as several foreign observers, and they've had very good things to say in their reviews about the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We spoke about the chair, his experience in running presidential elections. The transition of the IEBC now, before Kenya said we don't have much trust in IEBC. Do you think that perception and the answer from Kenyans today would be different?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because initially, you vote, go home and wait for the declaration. this time round, the IEBC, you are actually a stakeholder. You have been brought on board. You can access the portal, do your own maths, but wait for us to declare.
Yeah, that's my job.
Absolutely. So right now, I think they have set a new bar, not only for this country moving forward, but for the region, for the continent, and also has set a very good example for in the entire world. I think what I expect moving forward, there will be a lot of benchmarks. You know, you remember on social media, Ugandans were asking themselves, are you guys serious? Like, you can actually tally your own results? The media is tallying and the Kenyans are also tallying. You know, this can never happen in our democracy. So I think it's a very good, the IEBC has leapfrogged, you know, the issues of election conduct in the region and the world over. I think Africa has had a very poor perception, but this time around, from the indictment they had in 2017 from the Supreme Court, I think Wafula Chebukati, when he retires, when his term ends in January next year, I think he should go with his head held up high. Yes.
I mean, the rest of the commissioners also have quite a lot to learn.
Absolutely.
Because, and I believe the problem with Kenya's Electoral Commission initially was one team goes out, one team, a completely new team comes in. And, you know, it's like getting into a new house and you don't know where the spoons are, you don't know where the cups are. So it was a rather confusing a situation. So when you're looking at the transition next, should Chebukati leave office, are you confident that this is a transition, that the lessons learned will transit to the next team as well?
Absolutely, substantially. Because remember what happened in 2013. Post 2013, the Isaac Hassan-led commission had the mandate to still conduct the 2017 election. Their term was still in force. Unfortunately, one of the irreducible minimums from, was it NASA then, said that we have to change the commission. And there was sort of a truce whereby they said, okay, let us bring a totally new commission. And I think from there, the issue that you're bringing up, which is very important in the conversation, the issue of the transition, the knowledge learned and things like that was not there. But right now, you have seen their new commissioners who are there. So they will still hang around and they have gone through the crucible, you know, their baptism by fire from this election. So I'm sure come 2022, 2027, they will have learned their lessons. And I think right now they have the best templates, they have the best structures to conduct the election. Yes, the only thing that they need to do is how can they come up with a solution to this time verification process? How can they reduce the verification process? Because it not only builds up anxiety, but it has an adverse effect to the economy.
All right, and that's what we're saying. We're hoping to get to a point where we can vote and know the result tomorrow, or or in
the evening, vote in the morning and go home.
Because it's been a week and Kenyans, they still don't know. Absolutely. They still don't know. Should I go open my business? Should I close it? And it's a long time. A lot of money could have been made.
Absolutely.
In this period, in the tune of millions, perhaps billions.
Yes.
But in which countries do we have situations like that, where election results, especially presidential results, are known within a few hours?
For example, the United States, but no, the United States is different because of the issue of the electoral college votes, where the results are known once it's closed. But in the US, for example, they have this issue of the mail-in ballots, where you vote before, and then there is how they tally the processes and all that. I think they're more advanced because now you'll see they start calling states and things like that. So it might take us time, but I think we should sit down and have a conversation around the verification process. We should not compromise it for the sake of time, but we should try and reduce it for the issue of the economy, because unfortunately Kenya is one of the countries where politics and the economy are intricately intertwined. You cannot divorce one from the other. Yes.
I believe 2 days to the elections, we had campaigns happening in Nairobi.
Yes.
I believe in Eastlands area, and we had convoys of the two parties, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, literally going in different directions. And when they were at the same spot, you saw the supporters fist bumping, wishing each other well.
Yes.
You guys, tumetoka huko, but you guys go spread your message. It was very nice and very pleasant and very friendly. So it looks like Kenyans have gotten into this space where even when politicians and leaders are fighting each other, Kenyans are watching. You guys do your job. You guys want to fight each other, then fight each other. So just seeing that from before the elections, are we likely to have that carried on after this declaration is made today?
The joke is, even when going to vote, you wake up your neighbor who you know very well who is going to vote for the opponent. But you work together as you chat to go to the polling station, which is a good thing. But now the million-dollar question is, once the result is declared,
will they walk back home together? Not
even walk. Will they say hi to each other in the morning or at the parking lot in the morning? Or will desk mates at workplaces, will they still carry for each other lunch or go out for drinks together? That's the question. But as I said, the demeanor of the two presidential candidates will be extremely important for this country. After the ravaging of the COVID-19, the economy is picking up. I think it is incumbent upon us not to be selfish, to try and drag down the country together, down the drain. We should try and work together to grow together.
All right, yes. And we're seeing the likes of Margaret Njiru there. She, of course, lost in her senatorial bid in Nairobi County. And
she conceded, right?
And several. I'm not sure that she conceded defeat, but again, speaking of the issue of conceding defeat, because a lot of Kenyans are watching, and the wait is becoming more and more drawn out. We've seen leaders in various other positions concede defeat, and this has augured very well, even with their supporters, because they concede defeat. Some say, I'm not okay with the results, but I'm going to court. The thing is, it's been very democratic, it's been very civil, and there's not been much incitement that has been witnessed, so to speak. But are such leaders likely to convince the presidential candidate to do the same? Because we have issues of ego coming in. We have issues of upholding your ethnicity or your background and not letting your people down, because that is the lines in which we are voting. So does conceding for presidential candidates mean weakness for the supporters or to the supporters?
I think before answering your question, as you have said that people have been happy with people conceding, it will not be fair if I say that for the lawyers. Lawyers, we are not happy.
Yes, lawyers, and especially disgruntled lot with those conceding, actually. And
because there will be a few petitions, but I think for the democracy, it shows maturity and growth as a democracy, whereby you actually, and the other thing is about how open the result, the election was. Because if, as a for example, a politician, if I can access the Form 34As on the portal, I can be able to see where I am, where I did well, where I did not do well. So it's as a result of that openness, trying to do things, transparently, is where now people are being forced more to agree with the result. Because the process was watertight substantially. It was watertight. It will take a miracle for someone to really overturn an election that was conducted online.
Like this, and it's good that we've not seen any press conferences. Absolutely. And any social media posts. Today we will also find out who the deputy president of the country will be. Yes. It is either Martha Karua or Rigathi Gachagua.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about both of them individually. For Martha Karua, of course, history will be made for having the first female deputy president in office. But what about her are you expecting to see in this election, especially when it comes to upholding integrity, weeding out corruption? She's been very tough talking on matters corruption.
Absolutely. I think Martha Karua is one of the seasoned politician who is as predictable as day and night, because, she's one of the politicians who is not afraid to speak truth to power. So those are the kind of, and if you remember, President Uhuru has been very vocal on the reason why they settled on her as the Azimio deputy president. And if those are the attributes that she still upholds, even in the likely event if they are declared winners, then I think as a country the only hope we have is that she upholds that, and also she's given adequate room and space to be able to express herself and actualize those gems that she espouses. Because history reminds us that 2017, the deputy president and the president were not reading from the same script. And the deputy president has been vocal that his job under the constitution is to deputize the president. If he is not allocated roles by the president, then he's literally, his hands are tied. There's nothing much he can do. So we will want, if they are declared winners, President Raila Odinga to really give Martha Karua responsibilities. Let her take a leading role and make sure that the things that she's speaking against when she's outside, she actually tries and implements when she gets to the government.
Right, and also have Rigathi Gachagua,
Yes, yes.
who would also be a deputy president should the Kenya Kwanza team win. What is your assessment of him, especially how he fits into the role of deputy president?
I think Rigathi Gachagua and Ruto are somewhat the same, because they are very forceful with the ideas. They have very strong aspirations. They have very strong how can I put it, ideals that they espouse. So it will be very interesting how they work together, because I am told that in a marriage, for example, it should not be the same completely. You should. That's what I don't know.
Complement each other.
That's what I'm told, because I'm not yet there. But for them, they are the same. So the only hope is that one has very clear mandates, like the deputy president has very clear mandates, and number two, as accusation has been flaring all over the place, he should not be as stiff. Like the people say that he's no nonsense. He should be more democratic and open to views of other people. Yes.
The issue of the 2/3 gender rule, and it's not a women issue as many refer to it. It's a gender issue.
Absolutely.
Has been big on the table, and we've had at least the political parties try to ensure that they make good with the 2/3 gender rule in their nomination lists and whatnot. But the conversation around it is very technical. There's some say it was a mistake in the constitution, and some say it is a mistake that Kenya's parliament has not enforced it. And so it's back and forth even for legal minds. But are we likely to see this implemented? Or where likely are we likely to see it implemented? Is it with the Azimio presidency, or is it with a Kenya Kwanza presidency?
I think Azimio started well, appointing Martha Karua as the deputy president. But for the Kenya Kwanza, you have seen the deputy president signed a declaration with women, saying that half of his cabinet will be women, half of all presidential appointive positions will be for women. That's a good step. It's a good step because we need very vibrant affirmative action and very deliberate affirmative action in the country. We need to put ladies in position of power, in position of influence, so that they can showcase what they are capable of doing, to try and tell the people that we are no different between women and men. We are the same. Given the same responsibilities, we can even do it better. We have seen Anne Waiguru being re-elected in Kirinyaga County. We have seen 7 more counties electing women governors. They were not given that on a silver platter. No, they went and campaigned against very stiff male competitions, where some of them actually went through very seasoned politicians. We have seen in Bomet, where there's a 24-year-old women rep, which is absolutely good thing. I think we're now trying to see the girl child, trying to see now we have gotten to that level. I think why don't we now say we can actually lead this country? So that such kind of environment excites emotions.
In a country where men dominate the political space, and when we talk about the numbers, we say there's possibly more women than men in Kenya's population. Some say it could be the same, 50-50. But do men, especially in the political sphere, see the importance of the gender role? Because in a place where men dominate this space, so they've not really felt, gosh, there's so many women that I need to fight to have more men in here. I mean, have they been directly affected by lack of inclusion, by lack of implementation of this rule, that they feel the need to implement it?
I think absolutely they have. And historically, we have seen politics and top leadership, not only in politics, even in corporations, most of them were being led by men. Until this conversation of affirmative action, which is now enshrined and buttressed in the Constitution, started being the conversation. We have put women in leadership, and they have done exceedingly well. You have seen our company, for example, EABL, it's being led by a lady. There are banks that are being led by women. All over the world, we have seen women taking charge, and they're doing exceedingly well. There is no, and I'm told even better, there are some executives who prefer working with women, because I'm told they are meticulous in whatever they do. They all about result orientation. In our country, what we need to do is we need to put women in those spaces whereby their influence, they can showcase their talent, they can showcase their capabilities. Once we do that, then it will seep in slowly to the electorates, to the girl child themselves, and with time, we will start the discussion whereby people will be saying, why don't we have a woman president, leave alone a deputy president? And I am not a prophet, but I think in the next 10 years, that will be the conversation, because now we are seeing so many women. You know, in 2013, 2017, we did not have a woman governor. In 2013, 2017, we had, now we have 7. You know, you can see there is progress, but we need affirmative action. We need more stringent measures to be taken to make sure that we put them there. Yeah, even the issue of having them half in cabinet. Why don't we have more women in cabinet? Why don't we have more women in cabinet? Not even half.
No, and of course, there's been a conversation that it should not be elective positions.
Absolutely.
It should be appointive positions, and then the elective positions left to be a level playing field. But again, I'm not sure whether our society is there yet. But judging from places like Nakuru, where the entire top leadership is made of women, could our society be at a place where we don't need a rule that you should vote in this many women, or elect this many women, or nominate this many women? Are we there yet?
We are not there yet, but we are moving there very well. So the only thing that we should do for political parties, they should try and, in areas where they can give direct nominations to women, let them do that. Because they still need our support. They need to be at that level. And that is the same conversation that it is driving, even to the girl chat. Right to class 1, a small girl seeing a CS who's a lady, she stands and starts saying, I can be that one. Right now we have a female Chief Justice. Do you know the impact it has had on the girl child in the legal profession? They are now thinking, I can even be the Chief Justice. Initially it was just men. Right now they're thinking, if Mother Koome is there, I can be there,
All right, so we wait and see, of course, the different promises made, but who will implement and make good of that promise. The moment of truth is growing closer for the country that went to the ballot on Tuesday, the 9th of August, to cast their votes and choose their next crop of leaders. The country is, however, waiting anxiously for the announcement of Kenya's next president as the electoral body finished verifying the presidential votes and final results at the Bomas of Kenya. We have live pictures there. It is the National Tallying Center. The presidential race was neck to neck, judging by the numbers that we have seen. A contest between Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate William Ruto and Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga. Based on the results there, a neck-to-neck contest. We have more people arriving at the Bomas of Kenya. Friends, colleagues, party supporters, even family members of the presidential candidates, they're coming to support them and sit with them as Wafula Chebukati is set to make this announcement today. Missing from the Bomas of Kenya is Raila Odinga. He is the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate, but we do see the family members, even of Deputy President William Ruto, making their way to the Bomas of Kenya as the wait continues. Alex, the next thing that Kenyans will wait for, of course, if all goes well, is that there is no election petition, and the next thing in line is the swearing in of the president. And this should happen within 7 days, I believe. What activities are we likely to see from the announcement between today and the day of the swearing in?
I think the most interesting thing is to see the assumption of office committee. And if you look at the membership,
job begins today after this announcement is made.
Absolutely. If you look at the membership and you look at the role they played during the campaign period and pre-campaign period, it will be very interesting to see how that pans out. Unfortunately, we will not have cameras in those rooms, but it will be very interesting. I think one of the lessons that we should draw is that moving forward, we should not have state officers or government officers or civil servants taking part in campaigns. I think that was a very big blow for us as a democracy, because you can see the role that they are playing. Now the deputy president-elect will be getting also intelligence from the intelligence community in the country, same as the president. So how will they meet with, traditionally the president normally invites the president-elect to the State House. How will that conversation be? So I think those are things that will be very interesting to watch how they pan out. But also, one of the things that also is their supporters. I think it will be very nice if we are magnanimous with the winning. You should not be now as I have won and you have lost. right? Now that, of course, if I've lost, I will feel disgruntled. But ultimately, it is a decision that majority of Kenyans have made, and that we should take charge of our democracy. All
right, so let's listen in a bit to what is happening at the Bomas of Kenya as we take a look at where Raila Odinga, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance leader, currently is.
Ni fahari yetu, undugu ndio nguvu, chuki na ukabila hatutaki hata kamwe. Lazima tuungane, tuijenge nchi yetu, pasiwe hata mmoja anayetenganisha. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kwa uchungu na mateso, kwa vilio na huzuni, tulinyakuliwa uhuru na mashujaa wa zamani. Hawakushtushwa na risasi au kufungwa gerezani. Nia yao ukombozi, kuvunja pingu za ukoloni. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Wajibu wetu ni kuishi kwa upendo, kutoka ziwa mpaka pwani, kaskazini na kusini. hatutaki hata kamwe, lazima tuungane, tuijenge nchi yetu, pasiwe hata mmoja anayetenganisha. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya, hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kwa uchungu na mateso, kwa vilio na huzuni, tulinyakuliwa uhuru na mashujaa wa zamani. Hawakushtushwa na risasi au kufungwa gerezani, nia yao ukombozi, kuvunja pingu za ukoloni. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya, hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Wajibu wetu ni kuishi kwa upendo, kutoka ziwa mpaka pwani, kaskazini na kusini. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya, hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo.
You've only got one mama, you only got one papa, you've only got one life to live, no matter who you are. You can go the whole world over, every city has its dawn. But everybody living has one place where he was born. And mine is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here in my heart, here in my heart. You've only got one childhood and the memory that springs when you see your house, the tree you climbed, and all those precious things. The faces of the friends I had, the images that fall. When I close my eyes in the land I love, the land where I was born. My land is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here in my heart, here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here in my heart, here in my heart.
Umoja ni fahari yetu, undugu ndio nguvu. Chuki na ukabila hatutaki hata kamwe. Lazima tuungane, tuijenge nchi yetu, pasiwe hata mmoja anayetenganisha. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kwa uchungu na mateso, kwa vilio na huzuni, tulinyakuliwa uhuru na mashujaa wa kushtushwa na risasi au kufungwa gerezani. Nia yao ukombozi, kuvunja pingu za ukoloni. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Wajibu wetu ni kuishi kwa upendo, kutoka ziwa mpaka pwani, kaskazini na kusini. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya. Hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo.
You've only got one mama, you only got one pa, you only got one life to live, no matter who you are. You can go the whole world over, every city has its dawn, but everybody living has one place where he was born. And mine is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here in my heart, here in my heart. You've only got one childhood and the memory that springs when you see your house, the tree you climbed, and all those precious things. the faces of the friends I had, the images that fall. When I close my eyes in the land I love, the land where I was born. My land is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here
sitakuacha milele. Matajiri masikini yo, sisi zote binadamu. Matajiri masikini yo, sisi zote binadamu. Tusahau majivuno na tuache kupayuka. Tusahau majivuno na tuache kupayuka. Utajiri majivuno siyo tikiti ya mbinguni. Utajiri majivuno siyo tikiti ya mbinguni. Bahati yako ni ya leo, ile ya kesho ndiyo yangu. Bahati yako ni ya leo, ile ya kesho ndiyo yangu. Ewe Kenya inji yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu, ewe Kenya mama yangu, oh, sitakuacha milele. Mwarifu twakujua, mwarifu twakuona tu. Mwarifu twakujua, mwarifu twakuona tu. Fulani zako zazijua, lengo lako twalijua tu. Fulani zako twazijua, lengo lako twalijua tu. Wataka kunyamba Kenya we, utuharibiewa. Wataka kunyamba Kenya we, utuharibiewa. Harufu yako twaijua, hata ukipanda ndege. Harufu yako twaijua tu, hata ukipanda ndege. Ewe Kenya inji yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu, ewe Kenya mama yangu, oh, sitakuacha milele. Kenya yangu usijali, ukitukanwa na jirani. Kenya yangu usijali, ukitukanwa na jirani. Yeye anaona wivu kwa vile umeendelea. Yeye anaona wivu kwa vile umeendelea. Anakuita nyang'au, amekuita mnyonyaji. Amekuita nyang'au, amekuita mnyonyaji. Naye azidi kuporomoka, wacha yeye yaporomoke. Naye azidi kuporomoka, wacha yeye yaporomoke. Ewe Kenya inji yangu, ewe Kenya baba yangu, ewe Kenya mama yangu, oh, sitakuacha milele.
Different colors of a nation come together. I hear a whisper in the wind of a people with a dream. Different colors of a nation come together for a win.
We share spirit deep within. Our hearts beat in the rhythm. Different faces of the nations come together for the win.
Pamoja tunaweza tujijenga. Pamoja we can. We are. We rise. We stretch beyond our limits. Said we are stronger. We have fire. We are. We are. We are. We are. Do the incredible, climb the mountain, do the impossible, reach beyond the sun. Put your fear in the real, put your faith in one another for the win.
Pamoja tunaweza tujijenga. Pamoja we can.
We are. We rise. We stretch beyond our limits. Said we are stronger. We have fire. We are. We are. We are. We are. Dunia ni yako, wewe shujaa, bingwa ngurume. Kuwa mjasiri, wewe shujaa, bingwa ngurume. Ushindi ni wako, wewe shujaa, bingwa ngurume. Paa angani, wewe shujaa. We are. We rise. We stretch beyond our limits. Said
We are stronger. We have fire. We are.
we are. We are. We are. Victorious. 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 We are. We are. We are. Victorious. Victorious. We are. We are. We are.
Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama.
nchi yangu, jukumu langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Najivunia taifa langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa.
Simama, Wakenya wote simama.
moja nchi yangu na ilinda. Tunapenda amani, upendo na haki. Tumetoka kwa giza tuishi kwa mwanga.
Wanamuziki ni shujaa, walimu wote ni shujaa, madaktari ni shujaa, na wachimba migodi ni shujaa, wavuvi nao ni shujaa, wanariadha ni shujaa, wachezaji wote ni shujaa, bam 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 ni shujaa, wewe dereva ni shujaa.
The members of this commission, we believe led by Wafula Chebukati himself, were busy tampering and tinkering and manipulating those results. We know that they granted access to strangers to manipulate the results of this election. Wafula Chebukati has run this process in a very opaque manner. He has deliberately avoided even displaying the results of this election to the Kenyan public. It has created unnecessary and untold anxiety amongst the Kenyan people. We ask the Kenyan people to remain calm. We know that they are entitled to much more better than what this commission is offering. We shall continue to hold Wafula Chebukati, the National Returning Officer, together with the Commission IEBC, to account to the people of Kenya to deliver a free, fair, credible, verifiable election. The people of Kenya deserve nothing less. Thank you very much. I will now give it to my colleagues.
Ndege wako na mahali pa kuenda jioni, wanyama wa porini jua likitua pangoni, samaki wa majini wana makao baharini, wako mpangoni. Na kuna Mkenya hana nyumba mahali, na zile ziko hawezi kumudu bei ghali, analilia serikali, ategemea serikali.
Tuanzeni kujenga, watoto wetu wasikose mahali pa kwenda. Chukua mawe na simiti weka kwa mabega. Tunajenga, tunajenga. Kukinyesha tusinyeshewe, tuwe salama. Serikali kaingilia, ujasiri, wewe shujaa, bingwa ngurumi. Ushindini wako, wewe shujaa, bingwa ngurumi. Pawangani, wewe shujaa.
We rise, we spread beyond our limits. We are stronger. We have. We Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama. Nchi yangu, jukumu langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Najivunia taifa langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama. Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama.
Kenya yaito beautiful, mazingira tobwate colorful. Aba Kenya na bantu wonderful, proud to be Kenyan, I'm grateful. Mwenye bujinguru chaito, chinguru chaito, tosiga tabasani beze yaito, omorembo ito.
Tusonge kwa pamoja, tumetoka mbali, tunaenda mbali, sote kwa pamoja. Jukumu langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Najivunia taifa langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama. Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama.
Never do a calling tori kuanga tugo tuangalia ukatumo kibuka. Kenya yaito ni nse ya mashujoka. Never kigano katinto sukra.
Jukumu langu, naijenga nchi yangu. Hatuchagui kazi, kazi ni kazi. Boda boda, vijana mitaani.
Kenya yaito mwalembe. No bomo no wachani talikende. Nande tiganya saya atolende. Atokitera tuagate botambe.
Nchi yangu, jukumu langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Najivunia taifa langu, mimi ni shujaa, shujaa. Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama. Simama, Wakenya wote simama. Simama, wewe shujaa, simama.
Ukabila ni mbaya, ndo maana na upinga. Shujaa namba moja, nchi yangu nailinda. Tunapenda amani, upendo na haki. Tumetoka kwa giza, twaishi kwa mwanga. Wanamuziki ni shujaa, walimu wote ni shujaa, madaktari ni shujaa, na wachimba migodi ni shujaa, wavuvi nao ni shujaa, wanariadha ni shujaa, wachezaji wote ni shujaa, bim bam bim bam ni shujaa, wewe dereva ni shujaa, na boda boda ni shujaa, hata mama boga ni shujaa, askari nao ni shujaa. Uongozi maana yake, uongozi ndio uwezo uliopewa na watu wa kuwahudumia mahitaji yao na kushughulikia maslahi yao. Uongozi watoka wapi? Uongozi watoka kwake Baba Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa wateule wake aliyewateua kuwaongoza watu kwa mapenzi yake. Tangu tupate uhuru katika nchi ya Kenya, tumebarikiwa sana kupata viongozi wa busara sana. Watoa shukrani kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, nasi wananchi Kenya sote tunalo jukumu la kulinda nchi yetu na kumsaidia kiongozi wetu katika kazi yake ya kujenga nchi. Nasi wananchi Kenya sote tunalo jukumu la kulinda nchi yetu na kumsaidia kiongozi wetu katika kazi yake ya kujenga nchi. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. 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 Kenya ni nchi nzuri sana, lazima tuilinde. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Tusikubali wachochezi waiharibu Kenya. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Wananchi wetu wa Kenya, tuheshimu mamlaka, kwa sababu uwezo wote watoka kwa Mungu juu. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Tukitaka maendeleo katika nchi yetu, ni lazima tuungane sote tujenge nchi yetu. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Vigelegele na nderemo tushangilie Kenya. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Vigelegele na nderemo tushangilie Kenya. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Tuungane na viongozi tukijenga taifa. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Tuungane na rais wetu tukijenga taifa. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Vigelegele na nderemo tushangilie Kenya. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Vigelegele na nderemo tushangilie Kenya. Kenya ni imara, sote tunajivunia. Uongozi maana yake, uongozi ndio uwezo uliopewa na watu wa kuwahudumia mahitaji yao na kushughulikia maslahi yao. Uongozi watoka wapi? Uongozi watoka kwake Baba Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa wateule wake aliyewateua kuwaongoza watu kwa mapenzi yake.
wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Songa mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mikoa yaenda mbele, wilaya zaenda mbele, tarafa zaenda mbele, nchi yote yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 64 Kenya ikawa jamhuri. Mwaka wa 64 Kenya ikawa jamhuri. Wakoloni wote wakarudi nchini kwao. Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, madaraka ni yetu sasa. Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, madaraka ni yetu sasa. Uwezo ni wetu sasa, tunao uhuru kweli wa Kenya, wajipaisha wananchi wafurahia. Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, madaraka ni yetu sasa. Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, Kenya iko huru, madaraka ni yetu sasa. Serikali yetu imbioni, tunaendelea mbele. Serikali yetu imbioni, tunaendelea mbele. Tunafuata mwendo wetu Kenya wa harambee. Heko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kweli twaenda mbio, Kenya yaenda mbele. Eko kwa elimu twaenda mbele. Matibabuni twaenda mbele. Viwandani twaenda mbele. Na mashambani twaenda mbele. Kweli twaenda mbio, Kenya yaenda mbele. Kwa elimu twaenda mbele. Amibabuni twaenda mbele. Viwandani twaenda mbele. Na mashambani twaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri.
Walienda sana. Appreciate.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mikoa yaenda mbele, wilaya zaenda mbele, tarafa zaenda mbele, nchi yote yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 64 Kenya ikawa jamhuri. Mwaka wa 64 Kenya ikawa jamhuri. Wakoloni wote wakarudi nchi kwao. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Madaraka ni Yesu sasa. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Madaraka ni Yesu sasa. Uwezo ni wetu sasa, tunao uhuru kweli wa Kenya, wajetawala wananchi wafurahia. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Madaraka ni Yesu sasa. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Kenya iko huru. Madaraka ni Yesu sasa. Serikali yetu imbioni, tunaendelea mbele. Serikali yetu imbioni, tunaendelea mbele. Tunafuata mwendo wetu Kenya wa harambee. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Tuzidi kuenda mbio, sote tuende mbio, tupate maendeleo, nchi yetu iende mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri zote. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda kweli, twaenda mbio. Eko Kenya yaenda mbele. Kwa elimu twaenda mbele. Matibabuni twaenda mbele. Viwandani twaenda mbele. Na mashambani twaenda mbele. Kweli twaenda mbio. Kenya yaenda mbele. Kwa elimu twaenda mbele. Matibabuni twaenda mbele. Viwandani twaenda mbele. Na mashambani twaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri.
Fanya naipenda.
Kenya nchi yetu.
Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Kenya yataitoza, itailinda, maisha ni maisha ni mwangu. Tazama porini simba anguruma, kifaru yu pale na ndege wa anga. Tazama porini simba anguruma, kifaru yu pale na ndege wa anga. Kenya yataitoza, itailinda, maisha ni mwangu. Maisha ni mwangu. Ziwa la Bogoria kweli la shangaza, majini ya moto kweli ni ajabu. Ziwa la Bogoria kweli la shangaza, majini ya moto kweli ni ajabu. Maisha ni mwangu. Maisha ni mwangu. Ziwa la Victoria linaunganisha Kenya na Uganda, Kenya na Tanzania. Ziwa la Victoria linaunganisha Kenya na Uganda, Kenya na Tanzania. Nitailinda, maisha ni mwangu. Maisha ni mwangu. Mlima wa Kenya ni mlima wangu, waona barafu hata jua liwake. Mlima wa Kenya ni mlima wangu, waona barafu hata jua liwake. Nitailinda, maisha ni mwangu. Maisha ni mwangu. Fika Mombasa, wito wa bahari, ogelea maji, jua tamu kuota. Fika Mombasa, wito wa bahari, ogelea maji, jua tamu kuota. Nitailinda, maisha ni mwangu. Maisha ni mwangu. Na wananchi wote ni wapenda ugali na sukuma wiki, na wananchi wote ni sawa tu, wapenda ugali na sukuma wiki. Maisha ni Kenya ni nchi yangu, Kenya ni nchi yangu, milele na milele. Naipenda Kenya kwa moyo wangu wote, nitaishi Kenya maisha yangu yote. Naipenda Kenya kwa moyo wangu wote, nitaishi maisha yangu yote. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, mimi ni mzalendo, naona fahari kuishi kwetu Kenya. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, nina furaha kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya, kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya. Napenda amani, umoja, udugu ulio hapa Kenya. Nitaijenga, nitaitukuza, tayari kuilinda. Ni wajibu wa kila mwananchi kuitafuta amani kila siku. Hivyo ndivyo maendeleo yetu yatapanda vizazi na vizazi. Ni wajibu wa kila mwananchi kuitafuta amani kila siku. Hivyo ndivyo maendeleo yetu yatapanda vizazi na vizazi. Ni muhimu sisi wananchi zionyesho zalendo wetu. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, mimi ni mzalendo, naona fahari kuishi kwetu Kenya. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, nina furaha kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya, kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya. Napenda amani, umoja, udugu ulio hapa Kenya. Nitaijenga,
mwananchi kuitafuta amani kila siku. Hivyo ndivyo maendeleo yetu yatapanda vizazi na vizazi. Ni wajibu wa kila mwananchi kuitafuta amani kila siku. Hivyo ndivyo maendeleo yetu yatapanda vizazi na vizazi. Ni muhimu sisi wananchi tulinde juhudi zetu pamoja, zionyeshe uzalendo. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, mimi ni mzalendo, naona fahari kuishi kwetu Kenya. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, nina furaha kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya, 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 kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya. Napenda amani, umoja na undugu ulio hapa Kenya. Ni wajibu wa kila mwananchi kuitafuta amani kila siku. Hivyo ndivyo maendeleo yetu yatapanda vizazi na vizazi. Ni wajibu wa kila mwananchi kuitafuta amani kila siku. Hivyo ndivyo maendeleo yetu yatapanda vizazi na vizazi. Kuishi kwetu Kenya. Mimi ni mwana Kenya, nina furaha kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya, kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya, kuona maendeleo ya nchi yangu Kenya, kuona
Okay. As you can see, we are part of the commissioners in the IEBC. We have conducted the 2022 general election, and we have ensured that we have improved the standards, and we have ensured that we have consistently communicated what is happening. We have partnered with all stakeholders, and we'll say it for a fact that as the Commission, we have done a good job. But some things need to be put out there. As you can see, the four of us, we are here, not at Bomas of Kenya, where the result is going to be announced, because of the opaque nature of how this phase has been handled. We therefore cannot take ownership on the results that is going to be announced. However, we have an open door that people can go to court, and because of the same, we urge Kenyans to be peaceful, because the rule of the law is going to prevail. Thank you. I said because of the opaque nature of this last phase of the general election, and we are not able to take ownership of the results that will be announced. We are going to give a comprehensive statement, but this is from us, the four of us, and again, we urge Kenyans to keep calm. There is an open door that people can go to court, and the rule of law is going to prevail. Thank you.
What do you mean by people can go to court?
Some of the forms 34A have not been verified by the Azimio.
What is not happening?
We have said. Have you just come?
Commissioner.
Yes.
Commissioner.
A recap, because we are not going to take questions. Agreed. We will give a comprehensive detail of today's. I have said.
When is that likely to be?
They want a recap. There are people who miss. Yes, yes. We are saying we have upped the standards of election in this country. We have step by step faced the challenges that have been there. At the same time, we have ensured that things are running despite everything else. Now, we are not at Bomas of Kenya because we cannot take ownership of the results that is going to be announced because of the opaque nature which these results have been handled. We'll give details of this opaque nature very soon.
Why are you doing this now? Why are you doing this now? Let me go.
Don't sit. Uongozi. Uongozi maana yake uongozi ni uwezo uliopewa na watu wako wahudumia na kushughulikia maslahi yao. Uongozi watoka wapi? Kwake Baba Mwenyezi Mungu, kwa wateule wake aliyewateua kuwaongoza watu kwa mapenzi yake. Tangu tupate uhuru katika nchi ya Kenya, tumebarikiwa sana kupata viongozi ya busara jana. Twatoa shukrani kwa Mwenyezi Mungu. Basi wananchi Kenya, tunalo jukumu la kulinda nchi yetu na kumsaidia kiongozi wetu katika kazi yake.
Those are live pictures from Bomas of Kenya, the nerve center of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. It is 5:40 p.m. Kenyan time as the wait for the presidential winner takes an unprecedented turn in the country. 4 out of 7 commissioners in the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission have disowned the presidential results, holding a press conference at the Serena Hotel here in Nairobi. Among them, the Vice Chair, Juliana Cherera, Francis Wanderi, Justin Nyang'aya, and Commissioner Irene Masit. They say the process has been opaque during this last phase of the election, and they cannot take ownership of the results set to be announced by the IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati. Let's speak live to our reporter Philip Murutu. He is live at the Serena Hotel. Murutu, what more can you tell us? The commissioners say they will release a more comprehensive statement in the course of the day, but what more do we know?
A very good evening, Michelle. Like you rightly put it, we are coming to you live from Serena Hotel. A while ago, we witnessed a press conference, a very hurried one, I would say, by 4 commissioners of the IEBC. The commissioners were led by the Vice Chair of IEBC, that is Juliana Cherera. As you rightly mentioned again, she was accompanied by 3 other commissioners, Irene Masit, Nderi, and Justice Nyang'aya. Those are the 4 commissioners that have had a press conference here stating that they will not going to take in the results that Wafula Chebukati is about to declare. They left there to Serena to tell the country what it is. According to the Vice Chair Cherera, she describes the process as being opaque, and she said she'll be giving details of the opaqueness of in a detailed. Therefore, they didn't take any questions. They were categorical that is what they wanted to let the country know, that the process has been marred with irregularity. The process is open. They've we haven't been allowed to follow them in. We wait to see what detailed report or a statement they will be giving about this opaque kind of process they say they had the Bomas of Kenya. So we wait and follow up to see what more details we can get to our viewer. Michelle.
Left for Serena for this press conference. We had Azimio leaders led by the chief agent Ole Kanchori speaking to the media to the tune that they cannot trust the results. They've not got a copy of the Form 34C which contains the final presidential results. Also saying, you know, Raila Odinga will not show up at the Bomas of Kenya until they're able to ascertain the results. What are the Azimio team members asking in a nutshell from the Bomas of Kenya?
I didn't quite get the question, Michelle, but from what I have to pick,
have said they need to verify the final presidential results.
I have managed to see a few familiar faces of the Azimio team. Earlier on, I saw the Mombasa governor, alias Joho. I've seen him accompanied by other figures or individuals that are familiar with the Azimio side. I can't authoritatively point out their names because at the time they were getting in, we were rushing to come and get to hear what Cherera was saying. But it is true that they have stated in a conference earlier on that why they will be not agreeing with what is happening at the Bomas of Kenya is because there are irregularities in terms of the system being hacked and a lot of opaqueness, as it were, surrounding the process. Therefore, we are yet to exactly We only hope that the statement promised by the Vice Chair Cherera will come in soon, so that we have a clear picture of what exactly has happened to make the country plunge into this unprecedented situation. This was not expected by so many. It began being a question when it came from when it moved from 3 to 4, from 4 to 5, and now this is happening. Kenyans can only hope that someone somewhere in the commission will come out and tell the country exactly what is happening, and that is what we are exactly waiting for, and we are following up to know exactly what happened.
Ruto, what do we know about the safety and the security of the 4 commissioners who've come to the Serena Hotel, distancing themselves from this result? What do we know with regard to their security and the status of the other 2 commissioners who have been left with Chebukati?
I can tell you for sure, Michelle, body language, they are concerned about safety. The fact that they attempted to pop into the hotel and were held back just shows you a matter for them. They didn't quite speak on it, but you could tell from the body language, you could see that clearly it is not, it is a disagreement between them and the IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati, and that is why we were, before we even realized they were here to address the press, us were waiting on the other side of the hotel, only to be told the press has begun. The manner in which they are handling themselves, the body language, like I mentioned, tells you that this is not a matter they are taking lightly, and they are taking every precaution, and that is why they did the presser at the Bomas of Kenya. They came straight to Serena Hotel to do the presser, Michelle. But we will be following up on some of these questions you are raising to tell our viewer exactly what the situation is. Back to you, Michelle.
Serena Hotel, where 4 IEBC commissioners currently are, among them the Vice Chair, Juliana Cherera, as well as Commissioner Francis Wanderi, Commissioner Justus Nyang'aya, and Commissioner Irene Masit. The 4 of them making it very clear that the IEBC has done a good job in running the August 9th general election, however, decrying the opaque nature, and in their own words, the opaque nature of how the last phase of this general election has been handled. So quote-unquote, speaking to the verification of the presidential results. They say they cannot take ownership of the results set to be announced by Wafula Chebukati. They have urged Kenyans to be peaceful and not resort to violence, but use other channels like going to court, words which speak to a lot of what is expected with the results. And of course, they say the process was run in a rather opaque manner, referring to the IEBC chair. They say that they will continue holding, they will give a more comprehensive press statement as to what has informed their decision, the opaqueness that they're speaking about, and the lack of transparency in this process. Before that press conference by the 4 IEBC commissioners, we had members of the Azimio team led by the Azimio chief agent, Ole Kanchori, speaking outside the Bomas of Kenya. Among the issues they say or allege is that the presidential election results were tampered with, they were unverifiable, and saying that they will have to see the Form 34C and verify the results afresh for them to be able to sit at the Bomas of Kenya and wait in for that announcement. We did see the IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati walk into the Bomas of Kenya auditorium earlier on, and he was whisked away as soon as violence, well, not violence really, but unrest had been witnessed in the auditorium there. We now have the IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati, I believe, set to come out once again. Those are live pictures there, and we see members of the Kenya Kwanza team also, of course, holding their own. We did see Ledama Olekina there, the Narok senator, earlier on, getting rather rowdy. Ole Kanchori coming out to tell people that they still have unresolved issues to finish. So we're seeing the entire house there inside the auditorium up on their feet. Let's just listen in to what is happening as we wait for the IEBC Vice Chair Chairman Wafula Chebukati.
Tupate na ustawi. Mungu twaomba uilinde tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
One.
One, two, check 1 2. Check 1 2. 1 2. Microphone checking. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check. 1 2. Singike kwa house please. Sawa.
This is the moment Kenya has been waiting for. The nation has been anxious, but we want to urge all Kenyans, let us now put our anxiety aside. The Bible says the end of a matter is better than the beginning. We want to urge the country to remain united. We have families to look after, an economy to grow, children who will go back to school. We want our nation back. Let us all pray together. Heavenly Father, here we stand before you as a nation of Kenya. We have always seen your hand of mercy, looking after us, watching after us. Even when we push ourselves to the brink, you always know how to lift us up. Lord, we want to ask you that you'll guide the nation of Kenya today as we are going to hear the announcement of the process that has always been on. And Lord, when we hear the outcome, our prayer is that you'll keep this nation united. You'll make us find our being and love one another and care for each other, for we all belong together. None of us is going to go anywhere. We will remain to support each other and grow this country. We commit, oh God, all those who have been leading us to you in their various formation, that you will bless them. And as the election has come to a conclusion, we know there are those who have lost. Lord, we ask that you will help them as they come to terms. And even those who have won, Lord, help them to be magnanimous in their winning and embrace everybody. For they have been given an opportunity to lead those who voted for them and those who did not vote for them. So, Lord, bind us together with cords of love that cannot be broken. Enable us, oh God, to emerge out of this, shake off our dust, and march on and build this great nation. Lord, for the exercise ahead of us, we commit the chair and the commissioners before you, and all of us gathered in this room, that your will prevails, your presence overwhelms us, and this nation, oh God, will not go to the drain because you reign. This is our prayer in the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Good evening. We have walked the journey of ensuring that Kenyans get a free, fair, and credible election. It's not been an easy journey. Right now, 2 of my commissioners and the CEO are injured. And they of course, they are being treated. We have staff who have been profiled. There's a staff returning officer in Bakassi West who disappeared while on duty. We have staff who have been arbitrarily arrested for no reasons. We don't know where they are. Some from this National Tallying Center. But we have a constitutional duty to perform. And that's why I stand before you today, despite intimidation, harassment, I took an oath of office to serve this country. And I've done my duty in accordance with the Constitution and the laws of the land. And I feel proud that I've been given this opportunity to serve Kenyans. This, of course, will be my last election to preside over. And for those who will come, we have prepared for you what the Constitution envisaged from us, an independent electoral commission. So I just want to thank the staff of IEBC, the soldiers who braved insults, harassment, and delivered right from the constituencies to the counties and up to the National Tallying Center. I want to thank stakeholders, state and non-state stakeholders who have worked with us on this journey, and more particularly the members of the diplomatic community and the religious leaders who have been keeping vigil at this center for the last 3 days. They have been here throughout, 24 hours a day. So Kenyans came out and voted on the 9th of August, and these are the results of what the will of the Kenyan people reflects. These results are in the public portal. The same results which I'm reading here are the ones in the public portal. So there were 4 presidential candidates. These are the aggregated results. Odinga Raila, total valid votes, 6,942,930. And this represents 48.85% of the votes garnered, and he achieved a number of counties the candidate attained with at least 25% of the total valid votes cast is 34 counties. Ruto William Samoei, number of valid votes, 7 million. Thank you. 7,176,141. This represents 50.49%. And he achieved the minimum number of 39 counties at 25%. Waihika David Mwaure, number of valid votes in figures 31,987. That represents 0.23%. Number of counties with a minimum of 25%, 0. Wajackoyah George Luchiri, 61,969. Those are valid votes. Percentage of votes cast 0.44%. And the number of counties with a minimum of 25% attained, 0. So, in accordance with the law, the Constitution and the law, I, Wafula Chebukati, Chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, hereby declares that Ruto William Samoei of ID number 6847208 has been duly elected as the President of the Republic of Kenya under the provisions of Article 138 of the Constitution in the presidential election held on 9th of day of August 2022. And I'll proceed to sign the certificate. I invite the President-elect to come forward and receive his certificate.
Habari njema kwa Wakenya wote, tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka isiyoegemea upande wowote, inayodumisha demokrasi Kenya. Kura yako ni siku zako za usoni, chagua uongozi utajivunia. IEBC, jihusishe na upige kura. IEBC, inaleta mabadiliko. Chagua uongozi ulio bora. Ewe mwananchi mzalendo. Ni tume huru.
And of course, the President-elect had a running mate. Rigathi Gachagua is the Deputy President-elect. Thank you. I invite the President-elect to make his remarks. And thank you, Kenyans, for having a peaceful election. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, and High Commissioners present, Your Lordships, the Bishops, and members of the clergy in the Republic of Kenya, my good Deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, distinguished members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, led by Chairman Wafula Chebukati, fellow countrymen and women, good evening. It is a wonderful evening, and I want to thank God that we are here this evening to witness this momentous occasion as the people of Kenya restate what is in Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya, that all sovereign power belong to the people of Kenya. I want to thank God for getting us to this point. I want to thank God that today we have concluded this election. I know that there were predictions that I won't get to the ballot. There were predictions that we wouldn't get here. But because there is a God in heaven, we are here. And I want to, in a very special way, say and confess that without God, we wouldn't have been here. My gratitude also goes to the people of Kenya, the millions who listened to us, the millions who participated in our campaigns peacefully, the millions who turned up to vote for us on 9th of August, and the millions who have waited patiently until this announcement has been made. Specifically, I want to thank my fellow countrymen and women because we have raised the bar in this election. Jointly, we have raised the bar. This election was much about the issues than the ethnic configurations that have always informed our elections. Gratitude goes to the millions of Kenyans who refused to be boxed into tribal cocoons. I am a very proud Kenyan this evening that the people of Kenya have raised the bar on us who are seeking leadership in our country. Not to sell our ethnicities, but to sell our programs, our manifestos, our agenda, and our plan. Let me also say right at the start that in here and in this election, there are no losers. The people of Kenya have won because we have raised the political bar. I want to say that the people of Kenya, led by the 14 million who turned up to vote, are the biggest winners. The hero of this election is the IEBC, led by Wafula Chebukati. I say this with conviction that the IEBC amazed all of us. With the results in the public portal, all the servers were open. And everybody, all you needed is a simple calculator, and you would have the results. I want to congratulate the IEBC for raising the bar. And I want to say, without fear of any contradiction, that one Wafula Chebukati is our hero. Soft-spoken, but firm. And I want to tell you, Mr. Chairman, we are very proud that without informing any one of us, you put all the results from all the polling stations on a public portal where any Kenyan could access. That became the game changer in this election. Let me also, at this point in time, thank our partners, the religious leaders, who were part of this process right from the beginning. For the first time, we saw religious leaders spend time at this tallying center. and prayed for this process. I am sure their prayers will not be in vain. I also want to thank our development partners, our diplomatic community, and all the observers who came in their thousands to be part and parcel of the process right from almost 2 weeks ago to its conclusion in this auditorium. To all of them, I tell them the people of Kenya are eternally grateful that you took your time, valuable time, to watch over this process so that the right thing can happen. I want to thank my worthy competitor, the Honorable Raila Odinga, for a campaign that we all dwelled on issues and we tried to sell an agenda to the people of Kenya. I want to promise that I will work with all elected leaders and all leaders in Kenya so that we can fashion a country that leaves nobody behind. What the people of Kenya have done, they have assigned us responsibilities. There will be those of us who will be in the executive, but there will be those of us who will oversee what we do in the executive. Both responsibilities in government and in the opposition are important for the people of Kenya. I want to promise the people of Kenya that I will run a transparent, open, democratic government. And I will work with the opposition to the extent that they provide oversight over my administration. Let me also, at this point in time, acknowledge my boss, the President of the Republic of Kenya. His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, who has worked with me over the last 10 years in various forms. And I want to commit to the people of Kenya that I will build on the foundation that President Kenyatta and I put together and take this country to the next level. I want to promise all the people of Kenya, whichever way they voted, that this will be their government. I know many are wondering, especially those who have done many things against us. I want to tell them that they have nothing to fear. There is no room. There is nothing. There is no room for vengeance. There is no room for looking back. We are looking into the future. I am acutely aware that our country is at a stage where we need all hands on deck to move it forward. We do not have the luxury to look back. We do not have the luxury to point fingers. We do not have the luxury to apportion blame. we must close ranks and work together for a functioning, democratic, prosperous Kenya. I want to thank the members of my team, starting with my wife and family. And many other prayer warriors in Kenya. And I want to confess that I have been prayed into victory. It is not our effort. And my team knows. We were working against the odds, many odds at that. But I must confess that it is God who brought us this victory. I do not want to mention the many people, many friends who have been part and parcel of this journey. Many people have paid huge sacrifices for us to get here. I want to promise them that their sacrifice will not be in vain. I and my team and I will work very hard to make sure that we don't let the sacrifices made by many Kenyans, we don't let them down. I am very confident that this country will come together and we can move forward as one united, democratic, and prosperous country. I want to ask our religious leaders from across Kenya to pray for us and to pray for the unity and prosperity of our country. I will not want to say more than that because I will be making other statements in the course of time. But let me say to all of you, thank you very much for being here this evening to witness this very historic, democratic occasion that moves our country to the next level. And let me thank my very able deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, for the sacrifice and the commitment he has demonstrated and the hard work he has put in, together with all our teams, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, J.B. Muturi, Mr. Mutua, Amazon Kingi, and all. Let me not go down that route because I will disappoint some people because that list is very long, especially the men and women, members of parliament who were elected with us in Jubilee. And they have paid a heavy price for us to get here. Ladies and gentlemen, waheshimiwa, let me say, I owe you. You are great people. The sacrifices you made, withstanding the many incidences of blackmail and threats, I want to tell you, you have earned your place in the history of Kenya. Because today, we're going to form a government together to serve the people of Kenya. So with those many remarks, let me say to all the people of Kenya, I give you my word that I will work hard to make sure that this nation moves to the next level, is united and is prosperous. Asanteni sana.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Na ukipenda Kenya, ujitengane na mambo yenye kuvunja amani. Hatutaki matata Kenya, hatutaki matata Kenya. Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kutenda haki.
The Kenya Kwanza Alliance Presidential Debate 2022. Do not adjust your sets.
Good evening and welcome to the Pope Paul VI Learning Resource Center at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa in Nairobi. My name is Mark Masai of NTV.
Na jina langu ni Zubeida Kome kutoka runinga ya KTN News. Kutoka popote pale ulipo na kukaribisha katika mdahalo huu unaowahusisha wagombea wa ugavana katika kaunti ya Nairobi.
This is the final of 2 debates involving the 9 candidates cleared to run for governor. In the second debate, we are hosting Senator Johnson Sakaja of the United Democratic Alliance, UDA, which is affiliated with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, and Mr. Polycarp Igathe of the Jubilee Party, member party of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party.
Kulingana na kanuni zinazosimamia mdahalo huu, wawaniaji wana muda wa dakika 90 za kulumbana kupitia maelekezo na maswali kutoka kwangu na mwenzangu Mark. Maswali tumeabuni wenyewe na hayajajadiliwa na wahusika kwenye mjadala huu.
And our questions are clustered into 6 segments, each running for 15 minutes. As per our debate rules, each candidate has 2 minutes to make an opening statement, 1.5 minutes to answer a question, and 60 seconds for a rebuttal. The topics have been carefully selected after a thorough assessment of sentiments of the regular residents and voters in the city of Nairobi.
Na maelekezo yetu pia yanahitaji wagombea wanaoshiriki mjadala huu kuzingatia tasfida wakati wa mjadala, kumaanisha kwamba wasitumie lugha chafu ya matusi au kudhalilisha wenzao, waendesha mjadala na watazamaji wanaofuatilia mjadala huu mbashara. Lugha ya maneno au ishara zinazoweza kutafsiriwa kuwa matusi hazitaruhusiwa kutumika kwenye mjadala huu.
The same responsibility is shared by the audience seated here in this auditorium. Debate rules do not permit any cheers or jeers, except now, when we turn our attention to the debate platform to welcome the candidates Polycarp Igathe and Johnson Sakaja.
Na mtazamaji, kuingia katika ukumbi huu tulikuwa tumeweka kura ambayo ilistahili kuelekeza ni nani ataingia kwanza na kuwapa nambari wale wawaniaji wawili ambao tunatarajia kwenye mtahala huu. Kwa sababu Sakaja kufikia sasa hajawasili, inamaanisha kwamba Polycarp Igathe wa Jubilee ndiye atakuwa ukumbini kwa hivi sasa.
And the show must move on, so we will call in this first candidate, Polycarp Igathe of the Jubilee Party.
Polycarp Igathe, uwanjani wako. Tumkaribisha anapoingia.
Thank you. Maintain the position of your podium for the length of this debate. And as indicated, our starting time was clear to all the candidates invited. Thank you for honoring this invitation. And that slot remains open for Johnson Sakaja, the UDA candidate running for governor. I'll start with you, sir. And in leadership and integrity, definitely we look at the importance of that within your leadership once you or when you make the governorship. But start us off by telling us what separates you apart from your competitor.
Thank you very much for that question, and thanks for having me. I'm a product of Kenya's public education system. I'm a product of Kenya's public health system. I was born in Pumwani Hospital. I was educated through Kenya's public education system. I went to a public university, the University of Nairobi. And that sets me apart because in all those three levels, I came out through my upbringing by my dad and mom. My mom, who was a primary school teacher, Mrs. Kamau, and my dad, Mr. Kamau, who was an accountant. My teacher, Francis Bogongare, who I'm very proud is watching me from his home in Meru today. My English teacher, Mrs. Kathucha. These people, my teachers, my parents, my early bosses, and my latest boss, Dr. James Mwangi, taught me three things which sets me apart. That approach every task, approach every calling with high intention, with sincere effort, and with intelligent execution. High intention is prayer. Sincere effort is hard work. Intelligent execution is discipline. That is what we call a PhD. That sets me apart. And Nairobi, I bring a PhD attitude to the job. Give it to me. Thank you.
Naam, umetaja pale kuhusu masuala ya elimu, familia yako ina ueledi wa masuala ya elimu. Wewe mwenyewe umesema kwamba ni msomi wa katika chuo kikuu cha Nairobi. Je, unadhani ni muhimu kwa mgombea kuwa na degree ili kuweza kuongoza kaunti ya Nairobi?
Muhimu kwa mgombea kiti chochote ambacho kiko katika katiba ya taifa letu kuwa amehitimu na amefikisha kiwango ambacho kinakubaliwa na katiba. Kwa hivyo huo umuhimu sio mimi kusema, ni katiba imesema. Ni lazima uhitimu uwe mwalimu, lazima uhitimu uwe daktari, lazima uhitimu uwe mechanic. Hata kuosha gari inahitaji uwe umehitimu au kuwa waiter. Kwa hivyo hata hii kazi ya gavana inahitaji kuhitimu, na hilo ni jambo ambalo latakikana na katiba ya taifa letu la Kenya.
Lakini unadhani kwamba kuwa na degree ni ishara tosha kwamba utakuwa kiongozi bora? Kwa sababu kusoma ni kitu kimoja, uongozi ni kitu kingine. Je, kuwa na degree ndio ishara kwamba utakuwa kiongozi ambaye anastahili?
La hasha, ni mwanzo. Kwa sababu lazima uwe umefikisha kiwango cha usomi. Lakini jambo muhimu kuwa kiongozi ni kuwa unaelewa masuala ambayo unakuja kuyashughulikia. Na pia la pili, pia wewe uwe ni mtu ambao wapenda watu. Hii kazi ya siasa, kazi ya kutumikia watu, ni kazi ambayo unaifanya kutoka kwa roho yako. Na lazima uwe ni wewe ni mtu ambaye namba moja mcha Mungu, mtu ambaye anapenda kuhudumia watu. Na mimi maisha yangu yote nimefanya kazi ya huduma kwa wananchi. Nimeuza soda kwa kiosk, nimeuza bairo kwa bookshop, nimeuza pombe kwa bar, na hivi karibuni nilikuwa nauza pesa kwa mama mboga, kwa watu wa matatu, kwa watu ambao tunawaita wachuuzi wa kawaida. Kwa hivyo hiyo uzoefu wangu wa kazi umetokana na kushughulikia watu wa kawaida katika kazi ya mauzo, hasa katika sekta ya kibinafsi.
It has been the accusation leveled against your side by your competitor. Would have been great to have him here to respond to the question of a degree for governors, that the fight at least and the clamor to fight him to qualify to be on the ballot is for the benefit of Igade, to lock him out of the race. Just to clear the air on this, what is your response?
I really want to meet my worthy competitor on the ballot. The fight he's had is a fight I truly regret, because it's stopping Kenyans from actually stopping him from coming to office. When all constitutional institutions fail in their duty, then there is a duty by the citizen. And there is no bigger duty than the duty of voting on 9th of August 2022. I wish him well, and I hope that he can come tonight. I also hope that he will be on the ballot on the 9th of August so that we can beat him at 8:57 a.m.
Na umetaja pale kwamba una uweledi na umejitolea na una ule moyo wa kutaka kuwatumikia wakazi wa Nairobi. Lakini kweli uko tayari kuingia katika kazi ambayo itakubidi uwe pale kwa miaka 5, kwa sababu historia inaonyesha kwamba ulipochaguliwa kuwa naibu gavana uliondoka baada ya miezi 6. Hii kazi itakuhitaji kuwa pale miaka 5. Kweli uko tayari?
Niko tayari, niko gangari na nimejitayarisha vilivyo kutumikia wananchi wa Kenya katika jiji Nairobi kwa miaka 5. Mimi wakati nilipokuwa kwa kiti ya deputy governor nilisema kwamba sikupata na sikuweza kupatiwa kazi nifanye kama deputy governor. Na kuna jambo moja ambalo lazima tukubali. Ukiangalia wanasiasa katika taifa la Kenya, wako zaidi wanaochaguliwa kupitia kwa debe. Wangapi wanafanya kazi yao na ukweli wanapewa mshahara kwa sababu wamefanya kazi? Hilo ni swali tunafaa kujiuliza. Mimi siwezi kubali mshahara bila kufanya kazi.
Unasema kwamba hukupewa kazi, ni kwamba haukuwa na ushirikiano na Gavana Sonko, ni kwamba ulijipata katika nafasi hiyo kimakosa, au ni vipi wewe kama naibu gavana unasubiri tu kupewa kazi?
Gavana Sonko ni rafiki yangu, ni mwalimu wangu wa kisiasa, hasa siasa za Nairobi, na muheshimu na namuenzi mpaka wa leo. Ni rafiki yangu, hata dakika 5 zilizopita tumeongea. Lakini kazi ni tofauti na urafiki. Siwezi kuja ofisini na kila siku kazi yangu ni kusoma gazeti na kuacha koti kwa kiti alafu naenda na lala. Kazi lazima iko kazi ambayo na mpangilio wa kazi umepewa. Na usipopata hiyo kazi basi unaheshimu katiba. Na katiba ya Kenya inasema article 1 kwamba nguvu zote za katiba ni za mwananchi. Na kazi yangu nilipopiga reverse gear ilikuwa ni kusema na heshimu katiba ya Kenya, na heshimu mpiga kura. Na hivi leo nafanywa interview kama mfanyikazi wa watu wa Nairobi, na nawaeleza nitawafanyia kazi. Na baada ya miaka 2-3 mambo ambayo niliona yaweza kutendeka yalitendeka, na tugange yajayo yaliyopita.
In retrospect, you did not quit on the residents of Nairobi who entrusted you and in fact threw their weight behind your boss because you were there as a deputy. You didn't quit on them. Do you owe them an apology?
I failed to earn the trust to deliver my mandate as deputy governor. I never blamed anybody. I blamed myself, and I fell on my sword. Today we see a lot of people who, rather than quit their position, continue to sit there and enjoy the trappings of power and enjoy a salary from government. They enjoy public money. I did not quit on you. If I quit on you, I would not have come to represent myself again through my party Jubilee, through Azimio la Umoja, and contest the nominations and then win and then be here as a candidate. I respect Kenya. In our national anthem, we always say, Kenya istahili heshima. And that is a prayer, and that's our national anthem. We put our hands on our hearts and we say, Kenya istahili heshima, na heshima ni kwamba if you feel you're earning money you should not earn, especially public money, then you take a bow and you come back for a fresh mandate. Ladies and gentlemen, I've come for a fresh mandate. I seek to be governor of Nairobi. Please try me.
Unadhani ulihitaji ujuzi wa kisiasa ili kuweza kustahimili mawimbi ambayo yalikukabili wakati huo? Ungekuwa na ujuzi, labda mambo yangekuwa tofauti.
Siasa ni jambo la muhimu sana kuachiwa wanasiasa tu. Sisi ambao tumefanya biashara katika sekta ya kibinafsi tunaelewa, na mimi kama kazi niliyokuwa nikifanya kwa benki nimeona wafanyabiashara wengi ambao biashara zao wamefunga sababu ya maslahi yao kukataa kuangaliwa na watu ambao hutengeneza sera, hutengeneza sheria katika bunge. Na kwa hivyo nakuja hapa na uzoefu wa private sector, na nasema tuingie sasa, let us change kidogo, let's change the tune, tuingie, tupindue, tulete mapinduzi, tulete ari mpya, kasi mpya, mwamko mpya, tuendelee. Tujaribu mtu ambaye ana uzoefu ambao unaweza kusaidia kisiasa. Na siasa ni nini? Siasa ni ile mambo ya kuleta watu pamoja ili mtimize maslahi ya watu na jamii. Mtengeneze uchumi, tutengeneze mazingira, tutengeneze jamii na tuendelee pamoja. Hiyo ndio siasa. Hata katika sekta ya kibinafsi kazi ndio hiyo ya kufanya kazi na wenzetu. So nimekuja hapa, nimejitolea, nimeamua kwamba Nairobi hatuwezi tena tukaendelea jiji kubwa kama hili kuongozwa na uongozi ambao hauna uzoefu wa kufanya kazi. Mimi na kazi ya kuendesha jiji ni kazi ambayo inahitaji ufanye kazi na wafanyikazi ambao nimechunga. Nimeendesha makampuni ambayo iko na wafanyikazi maelfu, budget za mabilioni, na ndivyo nasema nafikiri nina uzoefu. Hii kazi ya budget bilioni 40, wafanyikazi 15,000, nataka hao wafanyikazi wapate kiongozi bora, kwa sababu wakipata kiongozi bora tutapatia wananchi wa Nairobi huduma na taifa letu litakuwa nzuri, na nitakuwa nimefanya kazi yangu kama mwananchi wa taifa la Kenya.
You do have the decorated profile in terms of the boardroom and the qualifications therein. Politics is part of the game, and especially for a county like Nairobi and the position it has nationally. Are you confident about your political ability to make sure that you control and you keep things under control within the capital?
Thank you very much for the compliment. I can tell you, even private sector, there's a lot of politics. In business, there are shareholders, there are employees, and there are customers. Shareholders invest in employees. Employees invest in customers. Customers pay the shareholders, and the cycle works like that. In politics, the shareholder is the political party. The political party then nominates candidates who come as politicians and civil servants who come as civil servants. And the work of civil servants is to then serve the public. And the public in turn keeps giving power to the right party. I am very proud to be a member of Azimio la Umoja, led by the most disciplined shareholder in politics, if I can use those words, Raila Amolo Odinga Baba. He has run the most disciplined political party. I'm very proud to be a member of his team. I'm very proud to be a member of the Nairobi team with my colleague Edwin Sifuna, with my colleague Esther Passaris, with all our MPs. I'm very proud. And because I'm joining a disciplined team, we are going to serve the public. What has been the problem of politics is just like in business, we have employees. In politics, what we see is that you have politicians, political parties and politicians who have come together to steal from the public. It's like a shareholder and an employee and management stealing from the customer. That's not sustainable. What I can say is, in closing, that remark is, when a customer loves you, no one will harm you. When a voter and the public loves you, no one will harm you. We are seeing it in Sri Lanka. We are seeing it in very many countries, that people are eventually, the silent majority, we have in Kenya, we have a very big silent majority. Quiet people, decent people, honest working people who go about their lives. They are really tired of the circus of usual politics, of insults, of drama, of coming late for interviews, of eligibility to a job, it just says this is what the eligibility. People are really tired. And I know that because I live amongst the people and I'm a son of this country. People just want a normal servant service person. They just want a politician or a leader who just gets the job done. And me and my partner, my deputy governor, who's an accomplished scholar, Professor Philip Kaloki, we are just here to get the job done. And we have come with a full blessing of our party, and we have fused a lot of ways: the Wiper way, the ODM way, the Jubilee way, the NAK Kenya way, the KANU way, the UPIA way, the DAP way. We have fused that, and that is the genius of this thing called Azimio la Umoja. Kenya will never be the same again, because you Kenyans have decided to vote for Azimio la Umoja on 9th of August 2020.
Umetaja pale kiongozi wa Azimio Raila Odinga na ukamtunukia sifa kedekede. Je, uamuzi wako wa kuingia katika kinyang'anyiro hiki ulikuwa ni uamuzi wako wa hiari, wa binafsi, au ulikuwa uamuzi wa Raila Odinga na mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja?
Uamuzi wangu kuingia siasa niliufanya tarehe March mwaka 2017. Ndipo niliamua kuingia kisiasa kabisa. Na mimi nimekuwa member wa Jubilee Party kutoka wakati huo. Watu wengi wanasema nimeingia siasa hivi sasa. Nilichaguliwa na kura 869,000. Nafikiri
kidogo,
na 2017, wacha nimalize.
Kwa sekunde chache naomba.
Nilichaguliwa na kura 869,000 wakati uliopita. Na sasa nimerudi tena kusimama. Ni uamuzi wangu binafsi wa kuja kwa siasa, na nilipigania kiti, nikang'ang'ania kiti, nikashinda tikiti ya chama tawala Jubilee.
So Igathe is his own man.
Igathe is his own man, and he won his nomination. He canvassed for his nomination politically within the party. Right. And within the party, we also had two other candidates. The people who were running against me also did not have degrees, and I bet them.
All right, on that point, I think you'll be happy with this intervention, because your competitor for the governor's seat has arrived, and would like to now call in Senator Johnson Sakaja.
Hey, karibu mdosi. Sasa bro, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, karibu sana. Good to see you. Pole. Traffic mbaya tutasort.
Thank you very much.
Senator Sakaja, why are you late?
Well, my opponent is used to head start, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity, and we're here.
Lakini mbona umekuja kuchelewa?
Nilikuwa nataka kumpa nafasi, aanze, amezoea kupatiwa nafasi ya kwanza. Na hakuna haja kuzingatia hiyo zaidi. I think we all know the head start we're talking about, that is from government, etc. But good to see you, Polycarp.
Good to see you, Sakaja. Welcome.
I look forward to a good debate. Thank you.
All right. What separates you from your top competitor for the governor position?
Well, Polycarp Igathe is a great man. He's a friend of mine. We've been in Jubilee together. We've campaigned together. I think what separates us is the heart to work for the people. He's had a career in the corporate sector. I've had a career in public service and in leadership. The problems this county has, the challenges in our city, the issues we need to deal with, need solid political leadership, and that is what I know.
Naam, swala la maadili katika uongozi lina umuhimu gani katika siasa zako, katika kampeni yako, katika mchakato huu mzima wa kuwania kiti cha ugavana katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Swala za maadili ni muhimu sana, kwa sababu kiongozi sio tu yale ambayo unasema ama yale ambayo unazo kama fikra, ni yale ambayo unafanya. Integrity is extremely important, na mimi nazingatia masuala yote ya maadili. I think integrity defines who you are, and it's not about who you are in public, but also who you are in private, and that's what defines a leader. Because as a leader, your work is to set a good example. Your work is to show the community and the society where to go to. And so, of course, integrity is not perfection. Integrity is not pontification. Integrity is not saying that you'll never make any mistake. Integrity is taking responsibility. And integrity is being able to stand up and say, yes, on this I'm right, and yes, on this I'm wrong. That is integrity.
You speak about abiding, and part of the requirement for governor is the competence and the credentials.
Yes.
Do you believe that it is important for someone running for governor to have a degree?
It's not just important, it's a requirement by our constitution.
Do you have a degree?
That's the reason I'm here. That's the reason I've been gazetted. I do have all the qualifications required to run for governor of Nairobi, and on top of a degree, beyond just the academic qualifications, I have the competence, the character, I have the will and the experience to lead this county of Nairobi.
Why is it so contested?
Because as I've said, the head starts being sought include that. I think, I feel bad for my opponent because majority, or rather the biggest part that his team has been relying on was not to have me on the ballot. I'm glad I had his said, because I've been around, I've been in this complex and listening, saying that, he wants me on the ballot. I'm glad he said that, but many of his political benefactors do not want me on the ballot because they know the effect of that. I do have a degree from Team University. I presented it on the 6th of last month to the competent authority, which is the Commission for University Education. After that, it was presented to the counterpart commission in the, in our neighboring country. They verified it. Many people have said that I'm trying hard to prove that I have one. Actually, it's my detractors trying hard to prove that I don't have one. Now, this issue is before the court, and the reason I sympathize is that if my opponent and his team focused on going to the people, then they would stop looking for solace in the courts. I have it. In fact, I would want to display it today to all of you to see. I don't know how you'll verify it, but the competent authorities and institutions that have to verify it have actually said it is correct.
Na kwa dakika moja unusu, kwa sababu sasa hivi tutaanza kuzingatia muda kulingana na sheria na masharti ambayo tuliweka awali. Kwa dakika moja unusu, endapo utachaguliwa kuwa gavana wa kaunti ya Nairobi, kisha baadaye kesi iwasilishwe mahakamani ambayo itabatili ushindi wako, utawajibikia wakazi na wapiga kura wa Nairobi? Hakuna kesi inaweza kubatili ushindi wangu, kwa sababu kwanza ushindi wangu, unajua ndugu yangu anaongea juu ya 8:57 am. Ushindi wangu utadhihirika, utaonekana. Nafikiri vile mmetutawanyisha kutoka wale wengine ilikuwa kwa sababu ya utafiti ambao umefanywa, na utafiti umeonyesha kwamba niko mbele zaidi. Mambo ambayo yako kotini yataisha kwa sababu tunajua ukweli ambao uko. Hakuna tashwishi hapo. Na zaidi ya hiyo, kwa sababu kumekuwa na hiyo unajua kizungumkuti ambayo imeongozwa na serikali, and I have said it previously, who has been driving this and how it's been driven. I think by the time we're going for re-election, we'll make sure that there's even more to be able to show on that. So that is not an issue of concern. What is of concern to us, and what is of concern to anybody worth his salt as a leader in this city, is the plight of the millions of Nairobians who are suffering the lack of dignity and the lack of order in our city. And that is where our focus must be. So I do not expect any challenges beyond that, because what is out there is political propaganda. If you look at the lengths that the state has gone to try and stop my candidature, if you look at the resources deployed, including diplomats and the ambassador, etc., intimidation of institutions, revoking and revoking, etc., then you know that there's something there. And I think nothing of that source will stand the test of time.
Are you saying that those who are backing this fight for your contestation for the position of governor are behind your competitor?
Yes.
What do you say about that? You have an opportunity to respond.
Our worthy competitors have pitched themselves as victims, and the entire platform is victimhood. That they are victims of the weather, they are victims of the law, they are victims of what they call the system. But facts are facts, and the truth is the truth. I have said I really would love to meet Senator Sakaja.
I think out of abundance of the heart,
I would like to meet Senator. I would like to meet. I would like to meet Senator Sakaja on the ballot, on the ballot, so that we can beat him, and so that the people who are the last line of defense when all other institutions fail, prove to him that they know better. That wajinga waliisha Kenya na waliisha Nairobi. If any other institutions fail, the people should never fail on the ballot.
Naam, muda umekwisha. Senator Sakaja, je, uamuzi wako kuingia kinyang'anyironi, ama niweke hivi, uamuzi wa kuingia kinyang'anyironi ulikuwa wako binafsi au ulikuwa wa chama na kiongozi wa chama?
Nimefurahi kwanza tumemaliza hicho kipindi kwa sababu I'm able to prove and to show that I have the qualifications, and that is going on. I'm looking forward to it. And I know millions of Nairobians, everywhere I've gone to, tell me every day that they're praying, and because they can see that big hand of the state. And we shall be vindicated in due course. When there's time after this, I'm available to speak to that. Of course, my intention to run for governor of Nairobi has been my intention. I've grown up in this city. I was born in Ngara. I've seen this city when it had some semblance of, a working city. And I've also seen the lack of dignity and order in our people. The lack of dignity when Mama Mwende in Kayole had to watch her daughter die at Mama Lucy because of an ambulance. I've seen that, and I've committed myself to lead the charge of providing order and dignity in the city. So it was my decision, it is my decision, and beyond that, it is a resolve of the millions of Nairobians to rescue this city from state capture.
Your decision, you say, but it is on a ticket UDA under Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
If you are elected as governor, how much of a burden will the patrons of your particular alliance have or be to your leadership as governor?
I think I've distinguished myself over the years as an objective leader, as a leader who stands his ground, as a leader who stands on principle. Many times, even before what my competitors and their colleagues thrive on, they like talking about the handshake, I've demonstrated what we call siasa safi. When the Honorable Prime Minister, former Prime Minister's retirement benefits were being rejected in Parliament because his now partner and brother said he must retire from politics, I'm the only person from Jubilee who stood up to defend. When Honorable Oloch was being fought at Pan-Africa by Jubilee members on the 26th of October, I'm the one who defended him. When Babu Owino was thrown into a cell and Raila Odinga and Wetangula could not remove him, I went, despite there not being any agreement before the handshake. I believe in siasa safi. I believe politics is not enmity. And I want to assure even my opponent that once we get into office, some of the ideas he has, because he's a good manager, and this city also needs, in some areas you need managers, of course, led by a leader with a vision. We'll incorporate the ideas. Everybody sitting on that side knows that I have no negative relationship with them, and that is the siasa safi Nairobians want. And that is why all your polls show that Nairobians across the political divide have resolved to support me for the office of governor.
Bwana Polycarp, je, ni kwamba Azimio mnaendesha siasa chafu katika kaunti ya Nairobi?
Kwanza wacha tuangalie siasa safi ni nini. Mwaka uliopita taifa la Kenya, the amount of money, pesa ambazo walituma kwa serikali gatuzi kutoka kwa serikali ya kitaifa was 370 billion shillings. 370 billion, Nairobi ilipata 19 billion. 5% only ndio ilikuja Nairobi. Nairobi, wapiga kura Nairobi ni 11% ya tuko 2.4 million out of 2.4 million voters out of 22 million voters in the country. Now, Nairobi contributes 2.2 trillion wame collect Kenya Revenue Authority. 60% ya hiyo 2.2 trillion imetoka kwa viwanda na wafanyi biashara hapa Nairobi. How does somebody contribute 60% of revenue and you only share 5% back? Na hiyo siasa safi ndio seneta wetu amefanya katika Senate. Kazi ya seneta ni kutuombea pesa. Ametuombea tu 5%. Alienda huko kufanya kazi ya county zingine. Hapa ndio sababu Nairobi hamna mashule. Tuna nasari pengine 211. Tuko na health centers kidogo sana, da dispensary. Na ndipo njaa na umaskini umekithiri hapa kwa sababu watu hawajui Nairobi is unaffected and a very poor country.
Muda wako umekwisha.
A very poor county.
Muda wako umekwisha.
That is not siasa safi.
Bwana Sekaja ameuliza umetetea vipi county ya Nairobi ulipokuwa seneta katika kipindi hiki cha takriban miaka 5. Je, kweli umewajibika kama seneta wa county ya Nairobi?
Zaidi. Na zaidi ya wote wengine ambao walichaguliwa kama maseneta. Ukiangalia utafiti ambao umefanywa kwa miaka 3 ambayo imepita, for the last 3 years running, I've been rated the best performing senator in the Republic of Kenya. I brought more bills, more motions, more questions about the county administration of Nairobi than any other senator, and you can check. I can see you have laptops. You can check that. On top of that, the work of the senator is to bring resources to the county. When I became senator for Nairobi, Nairobi was receiving 15 billion. I'm leaving with it 3.3 billion higher at 19 billion. That is actually understanding your assignment and prosecuting it the way you need to. So I brought that money. In fact, naturally, it will take more than 10, 15 years in terms of cycles of devolution to get to an increase of 3.3 billion.
Something Igade says isn't quite enough, even though you've gotten it to 19 billion. Something he says isn't enough, given the contribution of the capital to the rest of the nation.
Now, if you understand the framework of devolution under our constitution, fiscal decentralization has what we call the horizontal division of revenue. In that horizontal division of revenue, you have a county allocation of revenue bill, where you divide the amount that is given amongst the counties. So, of course, there is a ceiling of what has been given to all counties. What I have fought for is the fair share for Nairobi City County, which remains to be the highest, and over and above what any other county gets.
Igade, you have a response on that?
I don't know how much is enough.
What Senator ensured persisted in this country is a philosophy that is unsustainable, that you take from people according to their needs and give to others according to their ability and give to others according to their need. Nairobi is a very needy county. And the criticism I'm proffering here and submitting to him is that as senator, what did you do to help Nairobi overcome the hunger, the deprivation, the desperation in the informal settlements? Did you bring that matter to Senate? Did you make people understand that case? Instead, what we saw, he was a leader of a group called Team Kenya that even removed incentives for county to generate their own revenue. We used to get 1% extra if you generate your own source revenue. Like Nairobi is only generating this is going to do about 9 billion of its own revenue. So the county the CRA, Commission for Revenue Allocation, was giving us brownie points as a county if you collect your own revenue and you don't rely on the national government. And these are some of the things he did not protect as our senator. So how does somebody fail or does not succeed in their task and then you give him the job of governor?
Na ulifeli katika kutetea na kulinda rasilimali za kaunti ya Nairobi, na ukiwa seneta kwa takriban miaka 5 ambao umekuwa katika uongozi, umeweka mikakati gani kudhibiti na kuimarisha ukusanyaji wa mapato katika kaunti ya Nairobi ambayo yameonekana kudidimia?
19 billion from 15 billion is success. It's an improvement. In fact, if I succumbed to the sloganeering that my worthy competitor is talking about, which in fact his argument is the best case to show that education does not necessarily equate to intelligence. Because if I bring a box and tell you this is 1 man 1 shilling and it's 1,000 bob to you, and inside